Hey YouTube, what's going on? So, last video, we painted up a Predator mask. Now we're putting in dreads.
Behold, my stuff.
First we measure, then we cut, then we heat, next we shape the tip, plasti dip, and then you got dreads. So, experimenting with how I want to do this, I realized I needed to put the beads on first before I glue them onto the foam base head, so that way they'll hold a certain shape. Couldn't be easier. We're going to take hot glue, and we're just simply going to glue it into there, and then position it in such a way that they're pretty much facing the same direction. Then I will bend them and glue them that way. So, we're just going to glue them in, and again, that was the point of the Worbla shell. We could even cut a bit of the tip off so that when I put it in, it touches the shell so it has something to stick to. But I could just glue them in right along the base of the foam head that I mounted it to. So that's going to be the next step for what we're doing with that. So like I said, I got to get all the beads on first. Then once I do that, I can glue these all down and see how much space I have between the dreads and see if I need to go cut some additional layers to sort of line underneath. And then we're going to be in good shape. Next, it's time to make beads. Take your PVC pipe, take your PVC pipe cutters, cut through your PVC. If it's angled, you can grind it later or leave it, doesn't matter. Cut out a bunch. Make sure that the diameter fits over the dreadlocks that you bought. Bear in mind that when you heat seal your dreadlocks, they're going to shrink in diameter. And the more you heat them, the more you shrink. So they can end up too big and you have to glue them in place. So make sure that they're just a little smaller than your starting amount so that you could get them in there. Next, we're going to want to waste away the middle. So we get a grinder. And we're going to grind. First, we're going to flatten it. Just enough to make it better than it was. Next, make sure the pieces are wider than your disc. Round the edges. Now you got a shape. Dremel time! Take a Dremel with a rounded diamond bit. Make a pattern. Once you've ground it up, sand it down a little bit. If you accidentally grind through the thing, not the end of the world. You can patch that up or put that in the back where it's hidden and it won't matter. Paint it, throw it on the dread. When you slide them onto the dreads, I like to use a twisting motion. Bear in mind, you're going to do some damage to your foamy dreads here, more than likely, depending on how thin you heated them. That's okay, because we're going to cover this with either latex mixed with black paint, or we're just going to re-airbrush it and close it up, so it doesn't really matter. Probably want to hit some of this with some black wash. I like to stagger the beads so that they have a bit of a flow. So I used a pattern one as my middle guy, and then I just kind of have them randomly kind of all over. The good thing is that I can move them as I see fit. Just really random sizes. And we're going to do some disc rings on the bottom so that we have a little bit more to work with. And then we're just simply going to... Oh, looks like that's still drying. Mucusy. We glossed up the eyes a little bit more. And then these things are going to hang out and be cool. So, not too bad.
All right. So once we've got all the dreads installed, I had the brilliant idea to go in and airbrush all the damage that I did by putting the PVC beads on with an airbrush. And very quickly I established that that was a terrible idea because it was painting it, but it wasn't going to heal the little fuzzies and things. And I knew I was going to have to coat the dreads. So eventually, once I give up on this, I'm going to coat it and we're going to put it in... we're going to mix up some PVA and some gloss and some things, and we're just going to coat the thing. But I decided to also go in and blend more of the black into the dots that I've added to the face. I went in with a brush and created the dot patterns that I just couldn't do with the airbrush. I'm not skilled enough for that. But the good old brush never lets you down. So I went in and did those. Then I realized that there was a very glaring brownness to the black parts of the crown. And so I was like, all right, well, I definitely need to darken this up a lot. So I went in and I mixed up a black with some gloss and just went in to start blending from the jawline, just darkening it up, covering any little white touchy spots or crevices that I missed. Go in and darken the eyes so that they match a little bit better with the rest of the head. Really, we were just trying to go in over the dots that I laid down and hide them, and so they sort of appear out of the black. And I still wanted to get some of the high points brown and let that sit, so I really tried to go into the low points and build it up and build it up and build it up. I keep changing the mix and trying different things because it was a little watery. I still haven't really figured out how to mix airbrush paint and make it work. I'm still struggling with that. I may just suck it up and buy better pre-mixed airbrush paints because I can't figure it out. I lower the air pressure, nothing comes out. I up the air pressure and it's spattery. Can't really figure out how to mix it, so I do the best with what I can. In general, I started to get the hang of it enough where I would do a little bit, let it dry, go back, let it dry. I was using Vallejo reducer. I was using Vallejo airbrush thinner. I was using all different kinds of flow improver a little bit, just trying to create a better thing. And then I start doing the spatter thing where I start flicking it and getting like patchiness, so it still keeps that sort of reptilian look, and then a little bit of the spatter does sort of blend in with the dots and give it more of an organic kind of freckling look. I tried one, I liked it, I did it in a bunch of spots, it worked. So I just kind of go through and continue to blast the thing and darken it up until I get a blend that I'm happy with. And then once that's all said and done, we can go in and fix these damn dreadlocks.
Now we mix up some gloss medium, PVA glue, and black acrylic paint, because we're going to coat these dreadlocks. We could have used latex, but I don't want to. PVA glue will last forever. Latex eventually rots and is a pain in my ass. And this really just needs to catch the exposed parts. Doesn't have to get too crazy.
And that is how we spell done. This is the finished Predator bust.
All right, so that's the bust. It's all done. It's ready for display. We could flare this out and make it a little bit more necklined and things like that, and I could come up with a stand for it, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but that's what it is. So these are posable. I can move these, I can adjust these, I can do some kind of cool stuff with it. We went in and did the dot pattern with just a brush, nothing fancy. We went in and airbrushed and, I don't know, balanced it out, I guess. And then we went in and coated our dreads, so they just look a little bit better. PVC makes really good beads. Yeah, man, this is ready to go. So for a $12 mask and about $20, $25 worth of supplies, that's how you turn crap into pure gold, man. Happy to display this. It's about the size, it's a little bigger than a human head. So it's not quite as big as like a Predator mask, you know, when they put it over your head. That's really huge. But I'd still say this is 1-to-1. You know, I'd say it's 1-to-1. So less than $40, you get a 1-to-1 Predator bust and it looks amazing? I'll take it, man. Can't build it, buy it. If you can't buy it, build it. Sometimes if you do both, pure gold.